Hello, guten Tag, buenos dias, bonjour, dobrý den. Welcome to Me Paintings. I'm Veronica Me, and today I would like to create a beautiful crystal acrylic pour. Firstly, I need to create my background from my pour, and then I will work on little details and create these beautiful shiny crystals. As you can see, I will be using these colors from Lucas, which I buy in local art shop. You will have to search this online. I don't know what's available in your country. I come from the Czech Republic. And also these Arteza shiny colors. I will put the links down in the description box for you. Firstly, I would like to quickly describe what I did with my colors. So I mixed my colors with pouring medium. I make my own pouring medium from glue and water. I use craft PVA glue and I mix 60% of 60% of PVA glue and 40% of water. That's my pouring medium, which I mix with my acrylic colors in ratio 1:1 with these colors. If your colors are more fluid, you have to put less pouring medium in there. And if your colors are thick like these Arteza colors, you have to put more pouring medium in there. The consistency should be like running honey, like something between thick and thin. I will also add 2 drops of silicone oil in each color, but not in my base. This base is mixture of magenta and titanium white, so I won't put silicone in my base, but all of these colors, even the shiny Arteza colors, will have 2 drops. This one will have just 1 drop because it's not a big amount. So I will just show you 2 drops, and then I mix it up just a little bit because I would like to create some lovely cells on my pour. Let's move these aside. This is my canvas, which is size 30 × 40 centimeters, and I'm gonna pour this light pink as base color everywhere. So just pour it in the middle and use my spade to move it everywhere, even in my corners. Perfect, everything is covered with this lovely pink, and now I start pouring my colors. So I'm gonna start with this lavender, beautiful lavender, and pour these lines of lavender here. This is magenta, so here and there, even in between my lavender. Now I've got my mauve, dark mauve color, so here and there, a little bit here as well on the top. I'm using these 3, so it's Pearl Lilac, Pearl Royal Purple and Pearl Rose colors, which creates beautiful shine. And I'm gonna pour these in between my colors to add some shine into my crystals. And this rose, pearl rose color. And now I've got my purple, or permanent violet it's called. And this will be my swiping color, this permanent violet, because I would like to create some contrast. That's why I'm using this dark color as a swiping color. So I'm gonna pour it here on this edge. Like this. And I've got this piece of plastic, which is a great tool for swiping. You could also use cling film, kitchen towel, whatever works for you. This plastic works for me, so I'm using it, and I'm gonna swipe all the way that way. Wow, look at all these amazing cells. Now I'm gonna use my torch. I'm using cheap torch which works well. You could also use heat gun, but this time I'm gonna use my torch and create some cells here as well. So not many cells showed here. I think it was because I put too much of that permanent violet there. So I'm gonna do a reverse swipe and all these colors will mix nicely together. So this time I will just pour one line here on this edge like this and create a reverse swipe all the way up there. Okay, that's beautiful. Now let's use my torch again and some darker cells should pop here. Beautiful, perfect. That's much better. So these cells will be a perfect background for my crystals, and I will let it dry for about a week, and then I'm gonna show you what to do next. And meanwhile, I wanted to show you a few of my crystals which I've got at home. This is beautiful quartz. I wanted to look at it and see where the reflections are. See, the top is quite light, and then these are sharp edges on the quartz, which should bring positivity into your life. Then I've got this fluorite here, which I might also paint. Beautiful crystal. Then I've got this amethyst, which is good for headaches, and I tried to look at it closely and see how it behaves on the shine. These top bars are light, and then I've got lots of different shades of purple. Yeah. So I just wanted to show you where my inspiration comes from. And after a week my pour is dry, and as you can see it changed completely because it was a little bit wobbly and the colors moved all the way down here and created this beautiful skin which I could use for some kind of jewelry, which is great. And I love the pattern on this skin. Anyway, so now it looks like this, and I can turn that into beautiful crystal acrylic pour. So I'm gonna start by drawing lines which will create my crystals, and for that I'm just gonna use my ruler and my paint marker pen and draw these lines. I would like to create one central crystal which will be quite big, so let's just draw these shapes. Perfect, so that will be my first crystal shape, and then I'm gonna draw many more, and I will follow like lines of this so they all come together very nicely, and then I show you what to do next. Now I'm gonna fill all these gaps with black color. I'm gonna use my paint marker pen. You could also use black acrylic color. It's totally up to you. I like using paint marker because it's faster and easier for me, but of course you can use whatever you like. I'm gonna show you how to paint your beautiful crystal. For that, I'll be using my titanium white. This is permanent violet and mauve. So one light color and one or two dark colors, which I use for my crystals. And I'll be using this type of brush. Sorry about my finger, I just cut myself with palette knife. So it has got this tip, size 10. I buy my brushes in local art shop. You can order loads of them online. So I put a little bit of that white on the tip of my brush, and then I try to look at it, and when I look at it for like few seconds, I start to see these lines for my crystals. So one line will be here on the top like this, and then I put my brush in water, tap it on a little tissue and blend it. So firstly, I'm just gonna try to figure out where these lines will be, and then I start with shading. I do the first one like this. And when you make your first line, then you start seeing the other lines, which will create your crystal. First, I'm gonna do the light shadows, and then I start with the darker shadows. Now I'm gonna work on the dark shades, so let's put a little bit of this mauve here and maybe create darker shade on some parts. So again, I put my brush in water and I try to blend it nicely. Like that. And I'm gonna make these lines a little bit sharper with my paint marker from Artistro. You don't have to do this step, but I just like to make these lines a little bit sharper to give it that glow. And sharp edges. You could also use white acrylic color and very thin brush, but I like using this marker. Now I'm gonna finish all of them and show you the finished result. And this is the result of my crystal acrylic pour, and I absolutely love the result. It took me about 4 hours to paint this, so it was a little bit time demanding, but it was definitely worth it. My pour created such a perfect background for my crystals. So if you'll be inspired by this video, make sure to mention me paintings as a source of inspiration. You can also share your art with lots of lovely people in my Facebook group, which is called Create With Me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I can't wait to see you again. Bye!